Hi boys and girls, it's Mr. Folland, and we are back with episode 4 of Spot Run Storytime. Get up, what are you doing? Start spot running. We're reading Sideways Stories from Wayside School. If you missed episode 1, 2, or 3, go back and watch that first. We're up to chapter 4. Chapter 4 is all about Sherry. Sherry had long eyelashes. She weighed only 49 pounds. She always wore a red and blue overcoat with a hood. The overcoat weighed 35 pounds. The red part weighed 15 pounds, the blue part weighed 15 pounds, and the hood weighed 5 pounds. Her eyelashes weighed 1.5 pounds. She sat next to the window in Mrs. Jewell's class. She spent a lot of time just staring out the window. Mrs. Jewell didn't mind. Mrs. Jewell said that a lot of people learn best when they stare out the window. Do you think you'd learn best if you were staring out the window? Keep spot running. Sherry often fell asleep in class. Mrs. Jewell didn't mind that either. She said a lot of people do their best learning when they are asleep. Sherry spent all of her time either looking out the window or sleeping. Mrs. Jewell thought she was the best student in class. One afternoon it was very hot. All the windows were open, yet Sherry still wore her red and blue overcoat. The heat made her tired. Mrs. Jewell was teaching arithmetic. Sherry pulled the hood up over her face, buried herself in the coat, and went to sleep. Mrs. Jewell, said Kathy, Sherry's asleep. That's good, said Mrs. Jewell. She must be learning something. Mrs. Jewell continued with the lesson. Sherry began to snore. Mrs. Jewell, Sherry's snoring, said Kathy. Yes, I can hear her, said Mrs. Jewell. She must be learning an awful lot today. I wish the rest of you could be like her. Sherry began to toss and turn. She flopped over on the top of her desk, and then she rolled on top of Kathy's desk. Then she rolled back the other way. Kathy screamed. Sherry rolled out of the window. She was still sound asleep. As you know, Mrs. Jewell's class was on the 30th story of Wayside School, so Sherry had a long way to go. After she'd fallen 10 stories, Sherry woke up. She looked around. She was confused. She wasn't in Mrs. Jewell's class, and she wasn't at home in bed. She couldn't figure out where she was. She yawned, pulled the hood back over her eyes, and went back to sleep. By that time, she had fallen another 10 stories. Wayside School had an exceptionally large playground. Louis, the yard teacher, was way over on the other side of it when he happened to see Sherry fall out the window. He ducked under the volleyball net, hurled past the kickball field, hopped over the hopscotch course, climbed through the monkey bars, sped across the grass, and caught Sherry just before she hit the ground. The people in Mrs. Jewell's class cheered. Sherry woke up in Louis's arms. Darn it, Louis, she said. What did you go and wake me up for? I'm sorry, Sherry, said Louis. I'm sorry, Sherry repeated. Is that all you can say? I was having a wonderful dream until you woke me up. You're always bothering me. Louis, I can't stand it. She laughed and hugged him around the neck. Louis carried her back up 30 flights of stairs to Mrs. Jewell's room. What do you think she's going to do? That evening, when Sherry went to bed, she was unable to fall asleep. She just wasn't tired. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to post how many steps Mr. Folland took during chapter 4 of our story. Tune back in tomorrow. We're going to move on to chapter 5. Boys and girls, we hope you're having an outstanding day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.